Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this Ag Forecast video for South America, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, we had some new data come in over the weekend from the Standard Precipitation Index data we get here from the USDA. And what it's showing here is, looking back over the last month, we still have the same kind of narrative. Brazil seems to be largely split north-south on where there's been an abundant amount of precipitation in northern and eastern growing areas, but then from parts of Sao Paulo through Paraná, Santa Catarina, down to Rio Grande do Sul, there are pockets in there that are showing up quite dry. And I'm going to do a quick analysis of that before we take a quicker look at what's going on here in Argentina. And to do that, I want to go to, first of all, to our root zone soil moisture map. So we're going to begin first with some new GRACE data. Again, this came out late last week, but what we've got here is that's the pocket that we're measuring, less than adequate soil moisture. And then there's places in through here where we've seen some deficits as well in parts of Argentina. So this seems to be the corridor we're going to have to watch most carefully as we progress through the month of December and get into the month of January. Now, another website I'd like to show you, worldagweather.com, good example here. Let's go to Brazil and let's start north and go south. So Mato Grosso, honestly sitting right on their climatological average per precip and not hearing a lot of discussion about there being problems here. If we go from there over to eastern growing areas like Goiás, we again see above normal precipitation for much of the last 60 days. But farther to the south, like in Paraná, that's where the deficits start to show up. We've built up here lately about a 4 to 5 inch deficit in this particular state. And then from there, why don't we just skip down to Rio Grande do Sul? And that's where I think our largest deficits are beginning to show up here, with almost a 7-inch deficit showing up here over the last 60 days. So that story seems to stay pretty solid. Now let's get into Argentina very quickly. When we talk about Buenos Aires province, we're still below average. We go over toward Cordoba, it's much closer toward average. But as you get around like the Paraná River, that's where we see the deficits, and that's been an area I've been most concerned about here. There's about a 4-inch deficit over the last 60 days in this area. Now, why this is of concern is just some new data that came out today from the Buenos Aires Grain Exchange. We talk about planting progress for corn, and we can see that they're well behind what would be considered normal here. And so this just gets us thinking about the lateness of the crop in some areas, the impact of the crop planted in certain areas, and what the longer range forecast is going to hold. So let's build this whole story out. I want to show you what's happened lately. So let's click play here, go back to the 6th, and watch this last week. Now we get toward the end of the week, this whole region stayed relatively dry. But as we work our way into the weekend, some scattered precip over that drier pocket, and then up to right now on Monday night, we can see this region was filling in with some scattered storms. But over the next 10 days, this is an area that we continue to see showing up drier, much above average precipitation here, all right? But into Paraná, through Rio Grande do Sul, and along that Paraná River right there, got a lot of dry weather that's in place. Now, at this moment, there are some scattered storms in that area. But we ask ourselves, why is this showing up? Now, the southern annular mode is still high. But I want to talk about these ocean temperatures because we've started to see this La Nina reaching a peak, but not necessarily right over in this area. This is called Nina region 1+2. This is Nina region 3-4. Now, speaking of that, what I think we should do is we should go look at our ocean temperature analysis. And so, great website, Tropical Tidbits. I kind of got it zoomed in here. I clicked on Analysis Tools. I'll just do it again for you. Ocean Analysis, and this is where you're taken. Now, using the CDAS data set, we can see that Niño region 3.4 has really stabilized, which means we're not continuing to see a deepening of the La Nina out in the Central Pacific. But if I come over here to Niño region 1+2, okay, we dropped down in November, stabilized, but there's been a little bit of cooling there as of late. And that's, if you kind of see it right up here, that's this region right over in here. And that is correlated, let's go back one more, with the drier conditions in through here. That's important. It impacts the Bolivian high. It impacts high pressure sitting in this area, and we end up getting this pattern. So you'll see that right now we have scattered showers in this area. This is the European model 12Z run. But as I play this forward, watch, getting through the day tomorrow and then into Thursday and Friday, that heaviest rain moves farther to the north, and this region begins to show up drier. And as we play it on out here, that's the area that's got the much heavier rain through this upcoming weekend and through Sunday and Monday. And generally speaking, we just don't have coming through this area here any major fronts to be discussing. So when I look at all of that, let's just add up the total precip and do this all the way out in the next 10 days. Yeah, we're talking much above average. Oops, let's switch over to this one. Much above average north of that line. But this continues to be the area that's stressed. And notice along that Paraná River, that's an area where we may at best have some scattered showers. Now pressing from there into week 2, the model's once again favoring drier conditions. That's consistent with La Nina. That's consistent with the southern annular mode or the Antarctic oscillation. So we just keep seeing it kind of kick the can down the road here. But will it be getting warm? Well, as it turns out, with those drier conditions moving past the solstice, we're now talking about temperatures maybe 3 to 5 degrees Celsius above average. So we could start to see greater, evaporation stress in that area as we work our way now to finish one year and start a new one. And the new data that just came out suggests that cleared about January 25th, this area of Brazil and this area of Argentina, this has been a very consistent signal, are showing up drier. That's not the case north, where the crop may come out record early in Mato Grosso, given how fast it went in and how much rainfall they've had. But down south, I think is where our concerns are going to be. So I'll watch it again all week this week, and we'll come up with some new ideas to see if things shift around for Thursday's videos. All right? Have a good one. Thank you.